A black woman was kicked out of first class. What happened next shocked everyone. Maya stepped into the first-class cabin, a simple canvas tote on her shoulder, and paused just long enough to scan for her seat. Her white t-shirt was crisp, her jeans clean but plain. No designer handbag, no flashy jewelry. She made her way quietly toward 1A. A flight attendant glanced up. Tara, late 20s, polished hair, flawless red lipstick. Her eyes narrowed just a little. "Excuse me," Tara said, approaching with practiced grace. "Are you looking for someone?" Maya smiled politely. "No, I'm sitting right here." She showed her boarding pass. Tara took it, her fingers pausing for a beat too long. 1A, she repeated slowly, then looked up. "That's first class." "I'm aware," Maya said gently, without changing tone. Tara's smile tightened. "Would you mind waiting just a moment? I need to check something with the system." Maya gave a single nod and sat down, placing her tote neatly at her feet. Behind her, a man in a tailored navy suit leaned toward his companion. Blake, maybe late 30s, well-groomed, with that effortless arrogance of someone who'd never been told no. "Guess they're handing out upgrades like Halloween candy now," he muttered, loud enough to carry. His friend, a woman in gold hoops and a sleek ponytail, Chloe, snorted softly. "First class isn't what it used to be," Blake chuckled. "Next time I'll wear a t-shirt and ask nicely." Maya heard it all. She didn't flinch, didn't turn. But her jaw tensed slightly. Tara returned, now with a slight edge to her tone. "Miss, I've spoken with my supervisor. There might have been a mistake with your seat assignment." "There's no mistake," Maya said, voice calm but firmer now. "I paid for this seat. Here's the confirmation email." She handed her phone over. Tara didn't even look at the screen. "Unfortunately, the system shows this seat is unavailable. I'll need to ask you to relocate to the main cabin." "Why?" Maya asked quietly. Tara blinked. "I just told you." "No," Maya said, her voice still low. "You told me the seat was unavailable. That's not a reason. I'm asking why." A pause. Then Tara's smile dropped. "Ma'am, I'm trying to be polite. Please don't make this difficult." Maya stood slowly. "You think I don't belong here? Say it plainly." The conversation caught the attention of surrounding passengers. A few looked away uncomfortably. One woman pulled out her phone and began recording. Blake leaned back with a smirk. Drama before takeoff. "Love it." Tara's cheeks flushed. "I'm going to have to escalate this if you don't comply." Maya looked around, then met Tara's eyes. Her voice didn't rise, but it cut deep. "You may want to do that, because this isn't just about a seat anymore." Tara pulled her radio from her blazer and spoke calmly but clearly. "Mark, I need you at 1A. Passenger refusing to move from a misassigned seat." Maya didn't flinch. She remained standing, shoulders relaxed, her eyes on Tara, not angry, just steady, quiet defiance. Moments later, Mark, the flight manager, arrived. He looked to be in his early 40s, tall, composed, trying to stay neutral. "Good evening, ma'am," he said gently, addressing Maya. "I hear there's some confusion with your seat?" "No confusion," Maya replied, tone even, only resistance to reality. Mark offered a diplomatic smile. "Let's take a look, just to make sure." She handed him her phone, her boarding pass clearly displayed. Seat 1A, first class, confirmed. Mark scanned it quickly, nodded once. "The ticket seems valid," he said. Before he could continue, Tara interjected. "I checked the manifest earlier. No one was listed for 1A. Maybe it's a last-minute upgrade that didn't register properly." Maya turned to Tara, her voice sharp but measured. "Or maybe your system isn't the one that failed. Maybe it's your assumptions." The air thickened. Mark cleared his throat, trying to de-escalate. "I'll contact operations to confirm everything. We just want to make sure there are no issues before departure." "Take your time," Maya said. "I'm not the one causing a delay." Passengers were now watching more openly. A man across the aisle took out his phone and began recording. Blake leaned toward Chloe, grinning like it was dinner theater. She talks like she owns the airline. Chloe smirked. Maybe she's filming a gotcha video for views. Mark returned a few minutes later, his expression tighter. I just got off the phone with Central, he said. Your booking is valid, but the system didn't sync it with our cabin manifest. It's been confirmed now. Turning to Maya, he added, We'll honor your seat, but I'd ask you to remain calm. Remain calm? Maya's voice was low, but it cut through the noise. I've been calm since I walked in. Your staff made assumptions, tried to remove me, and made a scene. That's not a system issue. That's a people issue. Tara shifted uncomfortably. Mark said nothing. Maya sat down again, clasping her hands in her lap. Her face had lost its polite composure. Let me guess, she said flatly. You'll offer me a glass of wine and hope I forget this happened? Mark opened his mouth to respond, but said nothing. No one else spoke either. The silence inside the cabin now felt heavier than the drone of the engines building outside. Maya stayed seated, her back straight, eyes forward. The hush that fell over the cabin lingered like fog. Even the sound of carry-on bags being stowed further back in the plane felt distant. Blake leaned over the armrest, unable to help himself. You know, if you really wanted to prove a point, maybe do it somewhere that doesn't cost $6,000 a seat. Maya turned slowly, fixing her gaze on him. Do I look like I need to prove anything to you? Blake scoffed. Look, no offense, but people pay for first class for a reason. It's about experience, comfort, standards. Chloe jumped in, smiling sweetly. You're clearly articulate and confident. No one's saying you can't be here, just don't be surprised when people question it. Presentation matters. Maya looked at both of them, calm but unwavering. And when people like you say presentation, what you really mean is, you don't look rich enough to be one of us. That hit hard. Blake blinked. Chloe's smile froze. Maya continued, voice steady. Here's the thing. I didn't buy this seat to make a statement. I bought it because I can. What's unsettling you isn't the seat. It's the fact that someone like me doesn't need your permission to sit in it. Silence again. A few passengers subtly nodded. Someone murmured, Damn. Tara walked back down the aisle, a forced smile on her face. Can I offer you something to drink before takeoff? Maya didn't look up. Do you actually want to serve me now, or are you just trying to undo the optics? Tara's expression cracked for a second before returning to neutral. Would you like champagne or sparkling water? Maya looked at her for a beat. Water, and I'd like it without the performance. Tara walked away. Chloe leaned toward Blake, whispering harshly, You had to open your mouth. Blake muttered, Well, she didn't have to act like a damn TED Talk. From her seat, Maya finally allowed herself to exhale, not out of relief, but out of quiet resolve. This wasn't over, not even close. Ma'am, I need you to come with me, Mark said firmly this time, his smile gone. Maya didn't move. And if I refuse? We'll delay the flight, he replied, jaw tight, which means affecting over 200 passengers. So you're blaming me for your mistake? Tara cut in, her voice clipped. We've tried to be reasonable. You're escalating this. Maya looked at her. You escalated this the moment you assumed I didn't belong here. Mark turned to the front of the cabin and spoke into his radio, requesting ground assistance to 1A. We need security presence immediately. Gasps and murmurs rippled across first class. A man near the bulkhead muttered, Are they serious? Chloe whispered, She's asking for it. Blake leaned back with an exaggerated sigh. This is exhausting. Maya stood up slowly, hands at her sides. Her voice was calm, but steel-cut. You're calling security on a paying passenger who has done nothing wrong, for sitting in her assigned seat. Mark said nothing. Tara avoided eye contact. A few seconds later, 2 uniformed airport staff entered the cabin, 1 man, 1 woman, No weapons, no badges, just yellow vests and anxious eyes. The male staff member approached. "Ma'am, we've been asked to assist. Is there a problem?" Maya turned to him. "They say I don't belong here. You tell me, is that a problem?" He blinked. We were just told there was a seating conflict." She showed him her phone again. He looked, nodded, then looked at Mark. "Her ticket's valid." Mark's lips pressed together. The manifest didn't update. "We're trying to avoid confusion." Maya stepped forward, not aggressively, but decisively. "You already caused confusion. What you're doing now is covering it up." Passengers were recording now. You could feel it. Phones low, lenses pointed up. The woman in the yellow vest hesitated. "Should we remove her, sir?" Mark's face tightened. He was stuck. Tara leaned in, voice low. "She's making this a spectacle." Maya snapped. "No. You did. You humiliated me in front of a full cabin. You doubted my presence. You called backup like I'm a threat. If anyone's making this a spectacle, it's the crew." Mark clenched his fists. "We are not doing this here. Either you move, or I'll call the pilot to halt the flight." Maya's eyes narrowed. "Do it. Let everyone watch how far you're willing to go to get rid of one black woman sitting in a paid seat." Dead silence. No one laughed. Even Blake shifted in his seat. One voice from row 2 whispered, "She's not wrong." Mark's face was red now. Tara stepped back, biting her lip. Then Maya calmly picked up her tote bag. "You want to see strength? Watch me leave with dignity while you crumble under your own prejudice." She turned, walked down the aisle, and stopped near the exit curtain. The recording phones followed her. She looked back once, over her shoulder. "I'll remember every face that stayed silent." Maya disappeared behind the curtain without another word, but the tension didn't leave with her. No one moved. No one smiled. Even the hum of the cabin seemed to dull. Tara glanced at Mark. "Should we—" "She's gone," Mark snapped. "Let it go." Blake shifted uncomfortably. "Kinda dramatic, don't you think?" Chloe gave him a look. "Yeah, but also, that was a lot." Across the aisle, a young woman pulled down her phone from where she'd been recording. "She wasn't wrong," she whispered to her partner. "They treated her like a criminal." Mark paced near the galley, rubbing his temple. Passengers exchanged glances, no longer sneering, no longer amused, just quiet. One older gentleman finally spoke up from row 3. "I've flown this airline for 20 years. Never seen anything like that." Tara, trying to salvage something, approached him with a smile. "We appreciate your understanding, sir." He didn't smile back. "I wasn't complimenting you." Mark picked up the intercom, his thumb hovering over the button, but he didn't press it. Not yet. Behind the curtain, a muffled voice could be heard, calm, direct. Another voice, this time male, answering quickly, apologetically. Then silence again. Tara frowned. "Who's she talking to?" Mark turned, probably a passenger. A moment later, the curtain opened. Not Maya. A man in a dark suit stepped out instead. Mid-40s, clean cut, sharp eyes, airline badge clipped to his lapel. He scanned the cabin, straight to Mark. "Which one of you is the flight manager?" Mark stepped forward. "I am." The man didn't smile. "Step aside. We need to address something immediately." Passengers straightened. Phones went back up. The man nodded to someone behind the curtain. Footsteps, heels, and then Maya walked back in. But she didn't look like a displaced passenger anymore. She looked like the one who owned the room. The man in the dark suit stepped forward. "My name is Alan Price. I'm the Senior Regional Director for Atlantic Air's Executive Relations Division." Passengers exchanged puzzled glances. He turned to Maya, offering a respectful nod. "Ma'am, thank you for waiting." Maya didn't reply. She didn't need to. Her silence held weight. Price looked around, eyes calm but sharp. "I've just reviewed the incident that occurred prior to boarding. I'd like to make a formal clarification in front of everyone for transparency. The cabin went still. Mark stood rigidly, Tara behind him, arms crossed. Chloe folded her arms tighter. Blake avoided eye contact altogether. Price inhaled once, then spoke, measured and clear. The passenger in seat 1A was incorrectly confronted and removed due to internal miscommunication and an unfortunate assumption. He paused, scanning the room. An assumption that we, as an airline, do not tolerate. Tara's face went pale. Blake whispered, "Wait, what?" Price continued. "This woman is not only a confirmed first-class passenger, but also the executive investment director of Green Row Capital, our newest global partner." Gasps. "She is the lead negotiator in a private equity deal with our parent company, one that, when finalized, may help fund the expansion of over 50 aircraft for this very airline." Silence collapsed the room. Chloe's lips parted. Blake sat back like he'd been punched in the chest. "And yet," Price went on, voice still even, "she was treated like an intruder, doubted, dismissed, recorded, threatened." He turned toward Tara and Mark. "We will be conducting a formal review. Effective immediately, both of you are relieved of in-flight duties for the remainder of this trip." Mark started to speak, but Sir, Price cut him off, his voice like cold steel. "You escalated a non-issue into public humiliation and almost jeopardized a multi-million-dollar deal. Step back." Tara said nothing, only stared at the floor. Maya stepped forward for the first time. Calm, centered. She didn't raise her voice. "I came here to travel in peace. I didn't ask for recognition, and I certainly didn't expect spectacle. But I also wasn't going to shrink when told I didn't belong." She looked around the cabin, slowly, meeting eyes. "I belong wherever I choose to be." A young man in row 2 whispered, "Damn." No one laughed, no one blinked. Maya turned to Price. "I'd like to return to my seat now." "Of course," he said. He led her back to 1A personally. As she passed Blake and Chloe, neither looked at her. They couldn't. She sat down again. Same seat, same posture, but this time the air around her had changed, heavier, clearer. The cabin, once buzzing with judgment, was now swallowed in silence. And just before the curtain was drawn again, Maya looked toward Tara, Mark, and everyone else who'd watched it happen. She didn't say anything. She didn't need to. The plane landed without incident. As passengers gathered their belongings, the cabin remained quieter than usual. No chatter, no polite laughter, just the sound of zippers, clicks, and people avoiding each other's eyes. Tara stood by the galley, arms clasped in front of her. Her uniform looked heavier now, like it didn't quite belong to her anymore. Mark didn't speak. He kept looking out the window, his jaw clenched, unmoving. The passengers began to exit row by row. Blake passed Maya on his way out. He paused, opened his mouth, but no words came. She looked up at him once, expression unreadable. He kept walking. Chloe followed behind, sunglasses already on. She didn't stop. Tara took a hesitant step forward as Maya stood to leave. "Miss," she began, her voice small. Maya turned slightly. Tara lowered her gaze. "I didn't mean to—" "You didn't have to," Maya replied. Tara looked like she might cry, but Maya didn't wait for it. She turned, walked down the aisle with the same quiet dignity she had arrived with. At the terminal, a representative from the airline waited with flowers and an envelope. "Ms. Ellis, we sincerely apologize on behalf of everyone involved. This doesn't reflect who we are." Maya took the envelope. She didn't open it. "I'm not interested in apologies wrapped in policy," she said. "I'm interested in change." The woman nodded silently. As Maya stepped into the daylight outside the gate, a journalist waiting nearby called out, "Ms. Ellis, is there anything you'd like to say about what happened on the flight?" She stopped, considered it, then answered without facing the camera. "The most dangerous thing about power is when people think they can see it. And with that, she walked away.